Hello everyone! Christmas is coming upon us fast, and this week's tutorial is another Christmas song, and it's a bit of a tie-in from the last tutorial we did. This one is Wombling Merry Christmas. It was written by Mike Batt in 1974 and recorded by, of course, the Wombles, which actually consisted of Mike Batt on lead vocals, who also produced the record, and the fellas dressed up in the Womble suits on the Top of the Pops video were members of the folk rock band Steel Eye Span, who had been working with Mike Batt on the song All Around My Hat. You may remember it, an old English folk song, but it was christened, the Steel Eye Span recorded version was christened All Around Mike Batt. See? Funny. Okay, now, as I say, it follows on from last week. Last week we did I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, and the two songs have a very similar kind of feel for them. The Roy Wood song, Christmas Every Day, is a year older, but in 2000, somebody had the great idea of mashing the two songs together to release a record called I Wish It Could Be a Wombling Merry Christmas Every Day. And that reached number 22 in the charts. I've listened to it. It's interesting, shall we say. Anyway, enough of that. Let's. You'll see how the two songs are quite similar in feel. They've got a similar kind of rhythm, and I've tried to put them in sort of allied keys. The last one we did with the verse was in G and the chorus is in A. Well, this song, Wombling Merry Christmas, is in the key of D major. And so G, A and D are all kind of related keys. So, in fact, they're the ones with one sharp for G, two sharps for D and three sharps for A. If you understand your key signatures. But anyway, the first thing to note about this song is the introduction, and we've got a little bit of something different right at the very beginning. It's just a little slide, because we're starting on a D chord, but we're not starting hitting the D chord straight away. We're playing the fret below and sliding up to it. So we need to play that first part a fraction before the beat of the bar. If you prefer to play the closed D like that, you can also do it like that. Is it? But that way it is easier. So you put three fingers across the first fret of strings 2, 3 and 4. And then you slide up to the D. So the effect of it, it's the rhythm of this is a kind of tum-ty, 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 diddly, diddly, diddly kind of beat. So we want it to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, 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 like so. And then we've got a little, come off everything to play a C6th chord for one beat at the end of the second bar, and the C6th is the same as A minor 7th. It's just 4 strings open, so we get this effect: 1, 2, 3, 4. So that again, that C6th, you need to anticipate the first beat of the bar, so just come in that little bit early. Then in the introduction, if you've got an alto sax handy, you might find it very useful. We unfortunately haven't, so we have to replicate the introduction on the A string of the ukulele, and it's going something like... or something like that. Listen to the record, you'll see how it works. And then we get into the sort of the pre-vocal. It's just the last line of the chorus before the first verse. So we just get we wish you a wombling Merry Christmas.
didn't explain that bit though with the chords.
Ah, well, no, I didn't. I'm coming to that.
Are you? All right.
Oh, yes. But I think I need new strings on this. I'm playing my low G tenor. If you have a low G, you'll find that it does benefit because you can play that introduction on the alto sax. You can do it as a tenor sax and do it an octave lower. I'll show you what I mean. There we go. Yes, yeah, instead of doing it up there, because we're going up to the 10th fret, you can do it starting on here. So if you've got a low G, you can get down to that A below middle C. But if not, then you're going to have to go up and do it on the octave. Yes, as Pam reminded me, the last part of the instrumental, we've got a rundown. 2 beats on a D chord, then a D major 7th, then a D 6th, which is the same as a B minor 7th in this instance, and then down to a D. Now again, you can do it low down here, you can do it on the C string, in which case you'll need to play a B minor rather than a D6. So you're getting this rundown. But if you want to do it an octave above, then you're playing your closed D position, D major 7th, so D is 2225, then the D major 7 is 2224, and then the D 6th, which is the B minor 7th, is 2222, 2 Desmonds. And then you need to revert back to your open A, a D rather, to get the 2 beats on each. So if we put all that together for the introduction, it goes like this. Pam's going to play the chords, including that little rundown on the D, and I'll try and do something like the alto sax introduction. So, remembering that slide into the D chord to start with. So we go a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got a repeat of the G and D chords, 2 beats on each, and then we repeat that little, and then we're into the verse. The 2 verses are practically identical as far as accompaniment is concerned. Nothing to worry about. It's a D, an A, a G, D7, and a B flat. Now
an E minor 7th.
Oh, an E minor. Well, an E minor 7th is nice and easy, isn't it? That's just 0202. But the B flat, again, people are still frightened of the B flat chord, and it really is not that tricky. You really need to, if you're still having trouble with it, the only thing I can say is practice. And there are 2 ways of playing it, as Pam uses the full 4-string bar.
Yep.
And the middle and ring finger go on the C and G strings at frets 2 and 3 respectively. I usually play it with just a half bar with my index finger flattened across the A and E strings. That works for me, but whatever works for you. If you're really struggling with it, I've suggested this before, but there's a cheat you can play. If you don't sound the G string, the 4th string, you can play a G shape up on the 5th fret. And there's another voicing of a B flat. If you want to play the full B flat, your little finger needs to come over to the 7th fret of the G string. Or you play it a G shape up there on the 5th fret using those 3 fingers, so that your index finger is free to play the 3rd fret of the G string. So there's alternative B flats if you're struggling with the 1st fret bar. But that's the only thing you've got to worry about in the verse, and until we get to the end of the verse, and there's a couple of little stops and stings. So we get just the second half of the verse. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Sleepers awake, it's getting late, snow is falling, B flat, the whole wide world is wombling to stop, sting, sting, all day. So there's a couple of sharp strums on the A, and if you can damp the strings to make them really sharp and staccato, I just lay my little finger across all 4 strings to stop the note ring, to stop the chord ringing. So, and that's a nice technique, the damping. There's another way of doing a damping, which I'll show you in a minute. But that one on the A chord like that works. Just drop your little finger, and it's a technique that you can practice. So go ahead and practice. Then we get to the chorus, and we've got a G to a D. All day long we will be wambling in the snow. Then we go into a B7th chord. Pam, how do you do that, the D to the B7th?
I do the D with a bar on the 2nd fret and my little finger on the 5th fret.
And your middle finger pointing towards the light.
Yeah, well, I'm just no, so that you can see, like that. But then your finger's already barring the 2nd fret to be able to go to the B7, so it's 2, 3, 2, 2. And it just saves moving.
And that's one way of doing it. Or the other way of doing it is the more open position, and that's to play the D 2, 2, 2, 0. And then change to the B flat, which is
B7.
B7. Sorry, thank you. What would I do without her? Is 4, 3, 2, 0, which is a nice voicing for the B7. I like it. I use that one, and particularly at this point in this song, because the melody note is the open A string. It's the A note, obviously, but so you hear that one ring out.
But if you've got 2 ukes playing together, it's quite nice to have the
contrast and the additional sounds. But say when I do it, it works out. All day long, we will be wambling in the snow. So we've got the snow on that A note. So if we put the 2 together, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. All day long, we will be wambling in the snow. So we've got the two different voices of the same 2 chords, and it just works nicely. We wish you a wambling Merry Christmas. Yeah, don't think too much about the words. It's no, there's nothing to be gained. No good will come of it. We get to the end of the chorus, and we've got just a little turnaround there, which involves that slide up to the D chord again. So with the last line of the chorus goes, we wish you a wambling Merry Christmas, a G and a D again, and then that, and into the second verse. Under the ground, under the sound of a symphony. Okay, and then the second verse, the instrumentation is exactly the same as the first. So the only difference is that at the end of the second verse, there's only 2 strikes on that A chord before you get to the chorus. So the second time round it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll send a message into the night. There you go. And then into the chorus, second chorus, all day long, and so on. And when you get to the end of the second chorus, the turnaround is a lot shorter because you're going into the instrumental break. So you've just got a repeat of the G and D chords after Christmas. So it's we wish you a wombling Merry Christmas, G, D, and then into the instrumental break. And the instrumental break is again the alto sax, very similar to what the alto sax was playing on the introduction, but just slightly longer. And again, it goes something like this. If you want to play the chords under it, we've got that run down again on the D major 7th and the D6, back to the D, and then right at the end we'll show you what happens there. But anyway, can we go from the last line of the second chorus? 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I was looking at the last line of the verse. Last line of the second chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. We wish you a wombling Merry Christmas, G, D. Right, there's a G chord, and it's a whole bar of G, which is normally 4 beats. But what we're doing for this particular technique is we're playing 6 beats, or 6 strikes, each of 3/4 of a beat. To put that into practice, it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To an A. And then just one strike on that A. So it's and then damp again. Now, I mentioned damping before by laying your little finger across softly, just very gently across all 4 strings. There's another technique of damping that you can use when you're fretting 3 or 4 strings. It doesn't really work if you're only fretting 2 strings, but if you're fretting a G, you can just release the pressure on your fretting fingers. So instead of, we get, and if you can avoid playing the open G string, then it makes it a much better effect. So again, and then that A chord, just again, it's a stop, so you can stop it with your little finger.
I use the flat of my hand.
Pam's does that, and that's another technique for stopping. But those little stops just add a little bit of aural interest, a bit of light and shade to the performance of a song. And then at the end of that break, we go back into the last chorus. The last chorus is exactly the same as the other 2 until we get to the very end, when the last word, Christmas, is played at half speed. So there are 4 beats on each syllable as Christmas, of Christmas, and then just a repeated bar of a G chord and a slowing down bar of a D chord to finish. And it's nice to finish that D chord with the closed D, so we get that nice D top note ringing out there. If you prefer, you can play it as the B flat shape up on the 5th fret, so it's 7, 6, 5, 5, which is another voicing of D, but whenever you go. So I think that's just about everything. We've gone through our song sheet. If anyone wants the song sheet, all you have to do is let us know and we'll email it to you. Our song sheets are in Word format to enable editing, which PDF is all very well, but I find it a lot more difficult to edit than Word. So Word is what you're going to get, whether you like it or not. And we will be putting out a play along for this, hopefully with Graham on bass later on. We've got another comic Christmas song coming up this coming Friday, and more to come in the run up to Christmas.
But there won't be a tutorial next week.
No.
No.
what she said, my boss, the admin. There will not be a tutorial in the run up to Christmas because we're busy,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you will be busy too. So, so we'll hopefully see you for the play along version, which will be going out on Sunday afternoon, or lunchtime ish, and then we'll look out. We'll have done our comic song by then. We will be doing a little performance, which we'll be sending out on Christmas Day, although we're cheating and recording it a couple of days before. So there we are. That's our timetable up until Christmas, and hope you're going to have a wonderful time. But we'll speak to you before then. But until we do, it's time for us to go. So stay safe. Take care of each other and be kind to yourselves. And goodbye from Pam.
Bye.
Bye from me as well. See you soon. Bye-bye.